position that we are in the middle of an election. We don't have a permanent superintendent. I think that it would be wrong for us to oppose any policies right now that will affect next school year when we don't have the leadership intact. So I want to follow the lead of Councilwoman Dana Rome and also make a motion that we table all items that's being presented to vote tonight until after the school board election and after we select a permanent superintendent for this district. And the reason why is because I believe that it's unfair, it's not right to oppose any of these decisions or someone who was not a part of this decision-making process. So, if we vote for any of these things, this will be saying that the superintendent is responsible for doing X, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, whatever. I know my ABCs, but right now, I believe that we need to, dot our I's and cross our T's. And I believe that we need to table this until those very important decisions that is involving our district are made effectively, responsibly, and is in place for our school system. So I want to entertain a motion to table all items that are seriously being considered here tonight for next school year until those things are put in place.
The power of Facebook.
With all due respect to my colleague and good friend, Mr. Lewis, the children come to school every day. The children don't wait to come to school until after the election. And we have very important business. That has to be, and let me also say this, because I think this is a mischaracterization of this policy. This policy doesn't require the superintendent to do anything. The policy does not require the superintendent to do anything. It says if the superintendent and the district believe it's in the best interest of Newark children to co-locate at a particular school, if she thinks that's something that makes sense for our kids, then this is what you have to do. You have to first look at, is this a high quality provider? Are they good for kids? She has to look at, do they have a demonstrated commitment to fully serving kids? So this says if she wants to do that, these are the criteria that are evaluated. It doesn't require her to do anything. Because a vote for no is saying you just do what you want to do on your own, and we're not going to have a framework, right? This is what. Can I finish? Can I finish? You'll have an opportunity to speak. This is not that time right now. You'll have a time to speak later. You'll have an opportunity. It sure has a right. And I'm responding to the proposed motion. I'm responding to the proposed motion because I want to make sure everybody understands what is before the board and what is not. What is before the board is a policy that would provide guidance to the district if the superintendent thinks it makes sense to co-locate. Without the guidance right now, the superintendent can come to the board with a contract to enter into a lease without any criteria whatsoever. So we just need to make sure we know what we're talking about. This isn't requiring anybody to do anything. This is what we're saying. This is the framework within which you act. A vote no is saying you just do it on your own. And you just come to us with a contract and we'll walk into a meeting. We'll just walk into a meeting and then we'll try to evaluate the contract with the hundreds of other items that we have to.
Make your motion.
Let me just say something for not the same reasons Mr. Lewis. I've struggled with this whole thing, not just the policy, but the whole thing of relocation and closings of schools. As all of you know, this is happening all over the country, which got
not in a manner which y'all doing it. Not in the manner which y'all doing it.
Everybody should have a right to talk.
Y'all doing it secretly.
Please,
I'm not going to try to talk
Where you done travel to,
but one thing I think we should do, even if disagree. We should respect each other enough and let each other talk. Okay. But before we go with the motion, we should each have something to say so people will know where we stand. Now, let me.
People that want to hear.
One, you have to have.
Please, we need order. We need order. We need order so we can follow up and so we can continue. So please, loud.
No, I'm not making excuses, but I want to make my point.
Vice Chair.
Okay. One, I want to say to the superintendent and to Ms. Wilson, thank you so much for every question and every meeting, even the extra meetings that we asked, that you came and you answered it for us. Now, what I really want to say, when you vote on anything, you have to vote your own conscience, regardless of what. You have to vote your own conscience. Now, and I'm not going to talk while you're talking. Okay. Well, then I'm not going to, it is not one particular person's meeting, it's the board's meeting.
Mr. Outing, please, bro. Mr. Outing, please let us continue.
But what I do want to say, as you see it all over the country, which made me research and do more, that I think these things with co-locations, we're almost in a catch-22 basic situation. Because one thing, it's almost like it's a done deal or it's not the done deal. But one thing I want to say on behalf of myself, regardless of what is happening all over the country, which did make me dig even deeper, is that we see the way I see it as even more, and I think that's so you're teaching children to be even more disrespectful. You are being disrespectful. No, before you don't have to do that until you speak, but you're being disrespectful.
Mr. Outing, once the vice chair
and I really think there should be order in here. But the last thing I just want to say, while you are talking.
Again, please let. You know, we have. Let me say this. We have media here, right? And people love to tell a story. People love to tell a story about Newark. We can't have a meeting where we're respectful to one another. So I would love it if we could figure out a way to have a meeting, to have a conversation where we're not shouting out, talking over everyone else. Once the vice chair finishes, we will have second on the motion. If we could please have order, we're going to have public participation where people can express themselves.
Well, I'll just make it brief. That last but not least, because I do see this going on all over the country, it doesn't mean I think it's right. It doesn't mean I think it's right. And if we're teaching our children not only to get an education to do better for their personal selves, but to be able to think critically, to be able to make this a better world, then we have to teach them to go beyond the surface. And that's what I did in terms of this situation that I'm voting. If we was to vote today, it would be a no because I'm voting by conscience. Let me finish. And I suggest to not only the students, I suggest to everyone in here, number one.
You can't tell us nothing.
The one thing I suggest, I never said tell, I said suggest, is that we should look into a book by a lady named Naomi Klein. It's called The Shock Theory, The Shock Doctrine. And this book talks about, in terms of the capitalism that's going on, that schools that are closing all over the country. And so that would be my last thing to say. I think the district is doing the best they can with the hand that's dealt. But I think if we vote our conscience in terms of what is happening, we would have to vote on behalf of our students. Please, if you get a chance, go online, get the book, read about the shock theory.
We do all the time.
We do have a motion on the floor. We have a motion from Mr. Lewis.
And I'll second it.
Mr. Lewis, can you restate your motion? Your motion is to table this resolution until after the school board election?
All resolutions.
Oh, yes.
Motions to table all resolutions after the school.
All of that is shadowy.
So Is it to table them until the school board election or until the appointment of the superintendent?
School board election and the appointment of the new superintendent.
Later? Okay. So the motion would be basically to table resolutions 1 through 5 on the parts of the agenda until either April 27th or the appointment of the superintendent, whichever one happens later. So that at that point,
no, May 3rd. That's May 24th.
do we have discussion on that motion? I'd like to quickly say this. We did. The vice chair seconded. Vice chair seconded. We're not going to have discussion on the motion. Let me say this. First, I think the notion that we're going to table our business until either the later date of April 27th or when the superintendent is appointed is frankly irresponsible. We have children who are coming to school every day. We can't post. Why don't we just close the school till after that?
Well, okay, that's good. That's good. Then you don't get money. You don't get paid.
We have business to conduct. We have business to conduct. We've been elected to make decisions. We're in the middle of our term. We need to be leaders and we need to make decisions. We can't just table difficult decisions. If we don't like it, but we can't just table difficult decisions. That's one. Number two. Number two is this.
I'll be teaching.
Number two is this. Number two is this. We got a lot of folks talking about conscience, including some folks who defend teachers who haven't gotten the job done for decades. So if we talk about voting our conscience,